Yep. Has raising kids become harder than ever before? Because apparently nearly 1 in 5 teachers in England say they've been hit by a pupil this year, as more children are on course to be suspended from school than ever before.
1 in 5 teachers in England say they've been hit by a pupil this year. I mean, that is crazy. That is crazy.
Who's to blame?
But why is that? And are our teens out of control? We've also had horror stories of stabbings.
Well, we had one this week, didn't we? The one in Wales this week.
Awful, awful. Are our teens out of control? Joining us now in the studio is parenting expert Pei I Yang. Thank you so much for joining us today. So let's get back to the basics. Are children getting naughtier?
Well, I don't think so.
No?
No, not at all. I think it's just the society is changing and their needs are changing and the people and the system around them are not changing fast enough to meet their needs. So I definitely don't think there are any...
So what does that mean exactly?
So if you're thinking about... Let's start with the society in terms of social media. Right now, they have so much access to the social media. They get to know about themselves, their rights, other young people, what they're doing. So now they have a voice and they feel more empowered to know about their rights and what they're entitled to. Back in my era, when I was a teenager, everything my parents or the teachers say goes. But now they have this...
Do you think that's a positive change, though?
I actually think it's a positive change. And I think it's to really think about what lens are you seeing through the teenagers' behaviour. And if you're thinking teenagers... If you're saying the teenage children's behaviour is getting naughtier, I think we're placing the blame on the teenagers. But the problem is...
Well, 1 in 5 kids have been found to hit a teacher, physically strike out.
1 in 5 teachers have been hit.
Yes, yeah. I mean, that's no excuse because the world's changing around them.
Absolutely, there's no excuse, but we need to think about the organisational context and the pressure the teachers are going through, and also the curriculum, the teachers, when they went through the training, is there enough training, adequate training to teach them how to manage the difficulties, the changing needs of these children?
So are you blaming the teachers for
I am not blaming
getting
the
hit
teachers.
in class?
No, I'm not blaming the teachers getting hit in class, Ben. What I'm saying, the teachers are under a lot of pressure. There's not enough support for them to support the changing needs of the children. I would imagine there'll be increasing pupils in class, right? And then the children, there are a lot of neurodivergent children. The needs are they know about what they are, who they are, what they want to become. But there's no curriculum for the teachers when they're going through training to say, right, these are the parts you need to think about. How do you meet these children's needs? How do you build a relationship with them?
I think that's true, but anecdotally, from my experience, I mean, we've all been children, it was my friends who had strong discipline from their parents who were actually happier. Because they had boundaries, they knew expectations, they knew that if they stuck by the rules, things would be okay. It's when parents take a completely lax approach that children get into trouble. Surely there needs to be more discipline rather than less.
I think we are going through one extreme to another extreme. It's a balance of needs. Right? When I say the children's evolving needs are changing, it doesn't mean we don't put discipline in place. There needs to be boundary. Actually, the research has shown young people want boundaries and they need boundaries to feel safe because they're going through a lot of changes just now in physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically. And it can be really overwhelming for them. So they need that boundary to feel safer for them. But what I'm saying is there's a lot of influences in the system around the young person that is changing the needs. So then we need to think about how do we influence the people around them to support the young people to thrive in the education system.
I think if I'm lucky enough to have a child, I think I'll probably be quite strict.
You have to be, but you also have to be...
I grew up with, I'm your mum, not your friend.